Guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is from our scrap bin. So I went and pulled some scraps, and this time I definitely pulled scraps on purpose. So I had this sheet of star paper left over from a class, and I decided to pull colors from this. So I went into my scrap bin and found all of these scraps. I found some purples, I found some blues, greens, yellows, and then I decided to add a neutral with a gray and white stripe. And I think I'm going to bring in some khaki colored cardstock as well because of these stars. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys, so I did cheat. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. I didn't have any khaki colored scrap, so I grabbed an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock and pulled that out. And then, of course, I am using a sheet of white cardstock as my background. Now, I decided to just start with some paper tearing. No other reason other than I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I don't think I have torn paper in a little while, so decided to go with that. And then I found this yellow scrap of paper just sitting on my desk. It was actually underneath of my trimmer, so it was hiding from me. But I thought, you know what? This is another 12 by 12 piece, or at least a 12-inch length of piece of paper. So instead of instead of 2 layers of torn edges, I can make that into 3. And then that was me being super smart and trying to adhere a piece of paper down to another piece of paper without any adhesive. That doesn't work, you guys. I mean, I don't know why I thought that would work, because there are items in my scrapbook room that have adhesive on them and those suckers don't adhere anywhere. So there we are. I think that is probably my biggest pet peeve with scrapbooking products, is the ones that are supposed to adhere do not adhere. That is my biggest pet peeve, honestly. When I think about things, that is the one thing that grinds my gears more than anything. So now I have these torn edges, and I decide to go ahead and overlap this polka dotted paper onto that gray diagonal striped. And I did that because in a video a day or so ago, I did the same thing where I had those dots peeking out around a photo as an extra photo mat, and I really liked the look of it, so I decided to do it again this time. If I like something, I do it again. If I don't like something, I don't do it. That's kind of the philosophy here, guys. That is the philosophy. So I am determined to use up these scraps. If I don't use them, they do go in the bin. As you guys know, I am not a huge scrap hoarder of things, where I don't take and keep the tiniest little pieces of paper. That does stress me out. Having piles and piles of little teeny pieces of paper just... Oh, you guys, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that in my scrapbooking life. Scrapbooking is what, keeps me happy, keeps me sane. It relaxes me. Yeah, it just relaxes me. So I got to do it in a way that keeps me happy, right? And just like I would hope that somebody would scrapbook in a way that keeps them happy. I think too many times, I'm going to get on a little soapbox here. I know I do this randomly, but it's just the way I'm feeling, and I just like to talk. I like to talk about my feelings, okay? So Lana's phone just went off, and I completely lost my train of thought. For a long time, I used to think I had to scrapbook a certain way. I had to scrapbook the way the big scrappy people scrapbooked, or I had to scrapbook with the latest theme, or I had to scrapbook with the latest release. And don't get me wrong, I love a new release. I love the new things. But really, it's not anymore about having the new things. It's about having the new things that I love. And it's about using the old things that I love. So, my paper stash has definitely shrank since we have moved to California. I've used a lot of paper, you guys. But I still have a lot of paper. And I love paper. And, I just want to work through it, which is why I started my Making with the Manufacturer series. And then I'm using up the scraps using this series, which also ties into Lovely Leftovers, which I haven't had a lot of leftovers lately, so that's good, right? That means I'm using more paper, so that's always exciting. Now, I did take this little Gossamer Blue stamp. It is an old stamp set. Gossamer Blue is no longer in business. That one hurt, you guys. When Gossamer Blue went out of business, that one hurt, because I had found them and then kind of lost track of them, kind of forgot about them, because I was on a mission to use up things and not spend for a very long time. And then I rediscovered them and was buying from them, and then she decided to close up. So that hurt. Like, that one was one that was like, oh, not that one. So Gossamer Blue is one that hurts. Basic Gray, October Afternoon for basically the mini market letter stickers, but not everything. I have some October Afternoon and I have some Basic Gray left. But back when Basic Gray was in its heyday, I was the poor little scrappy kid that really didn't have the disposable income to spend on scrapbooking products. So most of my scrapbooking products came from like the big box retailers with the generic thin papers. So, now that I am older and make more money than I did then, and I have disposable income, like, now is the time where I'm like, yes, give me all the Basic Gray. Why are you not still around? So, and that's another thing. You got to scrap within your means. Which, is hard because you want the new stuff. There was a point where I was buying new stuff every month on a credit card and paying off, like, was paying on it, but wasn't really paying it down. So that 50-cent sheet of paper or that dollar sheet of paper probably ended up costing me $5 or $6 with interest. Like, who does that? So I don't do that anymore, for sure. It's just something that I don't do. And now my video is paused and I don't know what is going on. I need to stop voiceovering and figuring out the video. Oh, no, there we go. I'm starting to move. Apparently, I was looking for letter stickers. I don't know how long you guys had to sit and look at that pile because, as you know, when I do voiceovers, I look around and talk and don't really pay attention to what's going on the screen. That's just the way life is. So I have these little round thickers, and I love these bad boys. And my friend Sharon put them on a give and take table, and I took them, and I love them. And I am always surprised that every time I pull them out to make a title, I have all the letters that I need. They are just great. So I decided to spell out voting. So my title is going to be Home Voting 2020. Now, we did all vote from home. We did mail in ballots this past year, I should say. Back in October, I think, is when we did it. Alex, Christopher, and I all did ours together because ours came in together, and I have photos of that as well. And then Lana's, she did hers the day after or the next day because that's when hers came in, and this was her first time voting. So her first time voting, she decided to mail in her ballot instead of going to the polling place, which, her prerogative, whatever she wanted to do. So she was reading up on the issues, reading the guidebook that came along. She was Googling things. She was asking us questions. Like, she really wanted to be informed for her first time voting because, sometimes you go in and vote and it's the big issues. Like, who you're going to vote for president, who you're going to vote for your state representation or your local representation, but it's those other things that go in that you might not even know that you were voting on that. So there were a couple things where I was like, oh, we're voting on this? So, you know, you have to do a little research and figure out what you want. So, I am going to pull out these khaki colored Studio Calico star stickers. This has been in my stash for a while, and as you can see, I am almost through the entire sticker sheet, which is kind of sad and kind of good at the same time because, you know, I love using up my stash. That means I can buy more, but it also is sad because I love these stickers, and once they are gone, they are gone. That's kind of how that works, though, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay. So this layout has a ridiculous amount of layers on it, and I love it. It makes me happy. So since I have so many paper layers and I have so many pieces of color poking out and popping out and around, I decided to just basically add on some enamel dots as my embellishing. Now, I do have that cork sticker that says right now, and I figured that was appropriate since we are doing an at-home mail-in ballot. And so I'm just going to put on these enamel dots, and these are from Close to My Heart, and they were all in a color packet together. So how fortuitous that the colors that I would use for enamel dots on this layout were all in a package. It's like Close to My Heart was reading my mind from afar. Who knows? So there it is, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will have the links for the ladies participating this month and from our scrap bin down below. Go ahead, check them out, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.